Governor Andrew Cuomo is going to receive an International Emmy Founders Award, recognizing his leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic and his masterful use of TV to inform and calm people around the world. This is upside down world inversion, but in reality, this demon has been doing nothing but lying and spreading fear. Take a look.
Like South Dakota. I believe that. I believe they didn't have the same level of fear. And what caused so many people in New York to change their behavior? It was the fear. Why do you guys wear the masks now? Oh, because you said we have to. There's a law that says. No. You wear the masks because you're afraid of COVID.
Fear, 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 fear. Oh, that's so calming. Fear, fear, I submitted you with fear. I'm so impressive. Meanwhile, fear has many negative health effects, as well as the lockdowns, of course. But the media, the Emmys, and Cuomo invert reality and brainwash anybody dumb enough to believe them. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the stats. New York is number 2 in deaths per capita and doing worse than every single state in the country besides New Jersey. And this is scaled for population size. Florida had comparable travel, they're nowhere near them. Texas had more people, they're nowhere near them in deaths per capita. And if you compare New York to the worst country in the world, if it were its own country, it would be the number 1 worst country in the world for deaths per capita. Andrew Cuomo, of course, made the evil decision to put COVID-19 infected patients into nursing homes. Even left-wing fact-checker sites admit that he constantly lies about that, having one of the worst areas in the world by their own metrics. The Emmys have no shame, the mainstream media has no shame. These people are beyond evil. Speaking of evil, Gavin Newsom predicted in March that about 56% of California, about 25.5 million people, could contract the novel coronavirus in the next 8 weeks. Of course, he was completely wrong. There's only been about 1 million total cases in California, but that doesn't stop dictator devil Gavin Newsom from locking down his people, destroying businesses, closing gyms, and making most people unhealthier, depressed, and out of a job and business. That's why I made this website exposelockdowns.com with this 10-page packet that you could print out and show a small business or a friend near you how they're actually killing people, killing businesses, and killing this country with the lockdowns. Let's go through the pages quickly. This isn't the safe thing to do. People are dying. Businesses are dying. Politicians and news media are killing the country with fear. Proof inside, read and share. People are dying from the lockdowns. This isn't safe or nice by any means. Washington Post, the pandemic pushes hundreds of millions of people towards starvation and poverty, obviously, but these devils don't care. COVID set to cause 400,000 surge in tuberculosis deaths as medics diverted. Millions of misdiagnosis will add to the global pandemic toll, warns World Health Organization study. This doesn't count the tens of thousands of people who missed cancer screenings, many who will die because of it. They know the lockdowns are causing and will cause millions of deaths, but they are trying to guilt you into feeling bad for wanting to return to normal. Are they trying to kill us? Keep reading. Mainstream news already admitted the lockdowns in many areas increased suicides, obesity, depression, domestic abuse, domestic homicides, child abuse, missed cancer screenings, etc. A simple Google search and you could find many areas across the country and in the world where this is true. Does this sound smart to you? Of course not. Lockdowns kill more than just businesses and economy. They kill people. I'm trying to let people know these devils are using narrative, well, you're the selfish person, you're the bad guy for wanting to open up, as if this is a flawless plan that's really helping people. Meanwhile, devils like Cuomo have more deaths per capita in his state than the worst country in the world, yet he parades around television, and the media devils continuously lie and subvert our country into death, poverty, and small business destruction. I pray for people and I'm a really nice guy, but at a certain point, these devils and these demons deserve to go straight to hell for the evil and death that they're causing. But here's the question, do they even work? Do lockdowns even work? Let's look at the worst countries by death per capita. Understand I took this on November 18th, 2020 on worldometers.info, and of course it's always slightly shifting, but these were the numbers earlier this week. Keep in mind New York deaths per capita and New Jersey deaths per capita are worse than any of these countries, yet they act like they're so great and special. Number 1, Belgium had a lockdown, has strict rules. Number 2, San Marino, locked down. Number 3, Peru, world's strictest lockdown. Number 4, Andorra. Number 5, Spain. Number 6, Argentina. All had lockdowns. Argentina had the world's longest lockdown. Most of the worst countries were locked down. Sweden is now at 22. It keeps going down the list. And when I made this video, they had no lockdown and no mask mandate. So politicians on both sides and news media want to convince you if you didn't lock down, all these people are going to die. Even though demons like Gavin Newsom claimed that tens of millions of people would have COVID in just a few weeks, it's been almost 8 months now. We're not even close to that number, but that devil doesn't care. He doesn't care how many people he kills. He doesn't care how many business he kills. He's a devil. But they told us if we don't lock down or we didn't lock down, there would be some sort of astronomical number. If that's the case, then why are the top 6 worst countries when making this list in deaths per capita all lockdown countries? Why was the strictest lockdown and the world's longest lockdown in the top 6? Because there is no data on the planet that says non-lockdown countries are doing worse. It doesn't exist. It never happened. The media's lying. Politicians are lying. They're trying to kill you. And if you don't wake up and try to run your business or try to rally your community against these devils, you deserve to lose your business and you deserve to lose everything, because they're not doing this randomly. This is not a mistake. They're purposely killing your community. They're purposely killing small businesses, and they're trying to brainwash and indoctrinate people into submission. So wake up, look at the data, and notice that all the top 6 countries, the worst ones in deaths per capita, all had lockdowns, including the longest and strongest lockdown. The Telegraph, the country with the world's strictest lockdown, is now the worst for excess deaths. World's longest lockdown didn't avoid a coronavirus disaster in Argentina. I'm going to say this again and move on. There is no data, there are no numbers, there is no country doing worse than lockdown countries in deaths per capita. It doesn't exist. When making this video, the top 6 worst deaths per capita countries are all lockdown countries. Please wake up, folks. It's time to embrace the truth. Another page from my package shows nearly 100,000 establishments that temporarily shut down due to the pandemic are now out of business. But guess who's not out of business? America's billionaires. They got $434 billion richer during the pandemic, and that was in May. God only knows how much more money they've made since then. Don't worry, the billionaires and tech companies love the lockdowns. A lot of them control most of the media, so they're telling you to lock down, stay locked down. We'll get richer, you'll get poorer. They don't care. Another page in my packet, Newsom attended French laundry party with more households than California advises during pandemic. Isn't that interesting? As your business gets crushed, the politicians and elites don't follow their own rules. Rules for you, not for them. Get it? If you're a slave or you're a peasant, then I guess just keep acting like normal and pretend like this is science. If you're not a slave and you're not a peasant, like most people shouldn't be, no one should be, then understand what they're doing. They don't listen to their own rules. Lori Lightfoot is out not social distancing when she wants, and then she tells you not to have Thanksgiving. Gavin Newsom is hobnobbing with medical elites. Oh, the irony. While he tells you not to do that. These people are tyrannical, authoritarian devils, and the only reason people haven't realized yet is because most mass media is a giant PR team for them. So they tell you the good guy's the bad guy's the good guy. Oh, they're so liberal, they're so great. No, they're authoritarian, they're scum, they're demons, and the amount of people and businesses they've killed in a moral world would have them on trial for the biggest crimes against humanity outside of war and genocide. But unfortunately, we don't live in a moral world. In the last page of my packet, I said, fear is bad for our health. Don't buy into their lies. As Cuomo gets awards for literally spreading fear, fear weakens our immune system and can cause cardiovascular damage, gastrointestinal problems such as ulcers and irritable bowel syndrome, and decreased fertility. It can lead to accelerated aging and even premature death. So God knows how many people Cuomo killed besides his nursing home fiasco. God knows how many millions of people that liberal media has killed.
I believe they didn't have the same level of fear. What caused so many people in New York to change their behavior? It was the fear. You wear the masks because you're afraid of COVID.
With their fear-mongering and bragging about spreading fear, despite the clear science of how evil and bad fear is for you. You shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be scared. You should be prepared and aware. But these devils don't care. And when you get to the bottom of their ideology, the people like the World Economic Forum, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, these people who are really orchestrating this whole fiasco and laid out the blueprint that all the liberal politicians and media are following, they don't believe you should own anything. They don't want you to own private property. I have a whole other video how I explain nearly every single point in Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto is being implemented and is the goal of these groups groups like the World Economic Forum and the tech elites, so you literally don't own anything. World War I and World War II were physical wars. World War III is a psychological war. They're psychologically trying to destroy you because if millions upon billions of people realize what they're trying to do, they have to brainwash you into being a submissive slave in order to get you to accept your own death, your own demise, and the destruction of a free country to the point where you literally don't even own a house, a car, nothing. They want you to own nothing. So they're going to drag this out and lie about the data, say my data says 25.5 million people could contract novel coronavirus by May. And despite being number 36 out of 50, only having over 1 million cases, they still lock you down. They still treat you like a slave. They're trying to kill your business. They're trying to kill this country because when they destroy everybody, and Amazon and Apple and Facebook and Google are the only companies that are gaining as you're losing everything, they're going to come in and swoop it, own everything, and treat you like an animal. These people are anti-America, anti-freedom, pro-authoritarianism, but they're not going to tell you that because if they told you that, nobody would listen. They have to lie about the data, give them fake awards. One of the most deadly governors in the country and perhaps one of the most deadly leaders in the world, giving you fake awards, skewing the data to scream about cases and ignore deaths per capita, move the goalposts and change the metrics of how they're counting. We're just slowing the spread for 15 days. Oh wait, we don't want to overwhelm the hospitals. That's all we're doing. We just don't want to overwhelm the hospitals. Oops, we destroyed the hospital industry because by a mistake we shut them all down even though we didn't have to. Now we're laying off thousands of people. Oops, now we're counting deaths. Oops, now we're counting cases. Oops, you're in the purple zone. Oops, you're in the green zone. Oops, I didn't listen to my own rules. Oops, I destroyed your business, but I get to go out to dinner with my elite friends. Oops, this is not a mistake, folks. They're purposely killing this country. So exposelockdowns.com. Check out the packet. Feel free to download it, give it to a friend, and really try to figure out a way to counter this. For example, dictator Gavin Newsom is trying to make Orange County submit to his business-crushing, authoritarian devil rule. But the OC sheriffs already said that they're not going to enforce his rule. They're not going to enforce his psychotic mask mandate. And depending where you live, a lot of local mayors reject it too. So a lot of it is brainwashing. They just want people to listen, and people listen. If you don't submit en masse in big groups of numbers, there's nothing they can do about it. And it's past the time to do that. It's been 7 months of 15 days to slow the spread because they're not trying to slow the spread. They're trying to kill your business. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it anymore. And I have multiple videos showing and explaining how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and they've been bragging about this plan for years. So God bless you. God bless your family. Have a beautiful day. I'll be back with more videos. And if you'd like to support my page, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/raretalk. It helps a lot since Facebook tried to demonetize me. They're cutting my reach. Anybody that tells the truth, anybody that's conservative, anybody that goes against their lockdowns, they try to take everything from you. So I appreciate everybody supporting on Patreon. I have shirts and hats at dreamrare.com. And most importantly, have a beautiful day and don't buy into their fear because fear is not healthy. Have a good one.
I just make another deal. Yeah. All these nice politicians lie. Yeah. Still your money stacking like Dubai. Yeah. Got you and your feeling to the ceiling, but they're dealing with the villains and the killers to the side. Yeah. I'm about to teach you the truth. Yeah. They ain't trying to teach it to you. Yeah. They would rather keep you in the system, pay $100K for college just to end up in a prison. Yeah. They just sign your board to Rockefeller. Ooh, I can preach and beat a acapella.